Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Final Flight podcast. Rich, the jumps are now officially back. It's Chepstow. It's the jump season opening meeting. Oh my God, here we are. Tell me how excited you are. Come on.
I mean, yeah, it's back. I mean, we might not see a superstar this weekend, but thankfully there's some good flat racing behind the scenes that will make up
For
for it.
God's sake. And so it begins. Rich clinging on to the flat. Don't worry, you flat fans. You've got, what is it? Is it Champions Day or something that's still to go? And then that's pretty much it, isn't it? Is that the end of it, really?
Bit of Breeders' Cup over in America.
Oh, we're not talking about international. Anyway, what's happening here? How we ended up on international flat racing? As you can see, there's currently only two of us, which is a real shame. Joe is on his way to Barcelona tomorrow and is having some issues packing, apparently. But he may or may not join us. We shall see. So we've just seen all the viewers go, because obviously they come here for the young, good-looking one. But instead, you're stuck with us too. And we're going to look through the Chepstow Jump Season opening meeting. Obviously, we're going to do 4 races on tomorrow, and then 5 races on the bumper Saturday. And we're going to go through a couple of other bits and any other sort of hidden gems that we may have spotted or that we might fancy and things like that. And I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic evening for those watching, and hopefully we can find some of them winners. And like I say, the only place to find these winners is right here on the Final Flight podcast. So, Rich, are you excited? You ready to get stuck into it?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. So, there's only one place to start, really, and it is the Unibet Persian War, which is tomorrow at 5:15. Now, obviously, we were looking at horses like Tishan for Nichols and Brecon Castle, however you want to pronounce it, was another absentee in the declarations, which is a little bit of a shame. Obviously, you talk about, I mean, it is a grade 2, but you kind of want to see a little bit of a superstar or two turn up, potentially grade 1 horses, but that's obviously not the case. Nichols has swerved it, the first swerve of the season. Obviously, Tishan must not have been as further on as people may have hoped, but it's never mind. It's still going to be a good renewal, I believe, because if you go through it, there's still a decent race for a grade 2, I think. Might not be a top class horse in here, but there's still some nice horses in here. I'm going to go through the market. Currently now in at favourite, you've got Fergal's Runner, Ryan's Rocket, Johnny Burcon. You've got Intense Approach, McConnell coming over for the trip, Flying Fortunes in here, the mare getting the allowance, Juventus de Brion for the Skeltons, an interesting runner. Sam Thomas has got Vincenzo in here, Handle the Kettle for the Snowden team, and then Bullets Hill for Ella Pickard. So obviously I'm going to come to you first, Rich, and I'm interested to see which way you've gone with this. So for the first official jumps racing selection, who's your pick?
Well, it's my third choice since my top 2 decided not to turn up.
So let me guess, you were going to pick Tishan, then he weren't declared, and then you were going to pick Brecon Castle, he weren't declared. So the third choice is
Juventus de Brion.
Oh my God, are you a football fan?
I don't mind a bit of Juventus, but I just think he's the most unexposed. He's the unknown. We don't know how good he is. I mean, he finished 3rd last time out at Ascot. I think that was quite a decent race. I mean, Pick Rock won it. He's rated 128. In the Waterside was 2nd, who I think is going to be a decent chaser this year. He's 129. And Vincenzo's 4th, 120. I just think he's the potential in the field. I mean, I think he might want a bit further, maybe a bit of softer ground. This is probably not his ideal conditions, but yeah, I think he'll win a nice race. So I think he's about 5s, is he? I'm not sure. Is it 3 places in the Persian War?
You're getting 11-2 best price. I think it's only 2 places though, with there being 7 runners.
I might still be tempted to go each way. Like I say, it's a very open field, isn't it? I mean, like I say, I don't think there's a star in there, but if there's one that's got potential, I think it's this Juventus de Brion. So he's the one I'll be landing on.
No, fair enough. I mean, it's quite ironic how kind of we did the kickoff show and I was kind of kicking off about, small fields at Cheltenham and things like this. And
maybe we should make it a handicap.
2 races, not even we're not even getting 3 places, but it is what it is. It's going to take time to improve the world of horse racing, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole again tonight. So the one I'm going to land on, I feel like I'm not. This is kind of. I thought I'm going to play the rich card here, but I'm going for the favourite. Obviously, he wasn't originally the favourite when you had the T-Shans and things like that. But Ryan's Rocket for Fergal
So
is the
you're
one
basically picking the third favourite, yeah?
You got mate?
The actual third favourite is the real favourite because the top two weren't declared.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've seen a lot of people talk up a couple of horses in here, but I'm going to land on Ryan's Rocket for Fergal. I think he's obviously got Johnny Burt riding for him now, which I think is a big improvement. He won twice over hurdles last season, and I just thought he's kind of ground versatile, should I say? He's one on good ground, one on soft ground. I do think it's. I mean, the weather for. I mean, it's currently good to soft, I believe, on the hurdles course, and you're talking a lot of dry weather between now and then. They've got a lot of sun, no rain. Don't know if they're going to water or anything like that, but I'd be surprised if it isn't on the decent side of good to soft. So it's going to throw up a few maybe sort of anomaly select winners, maybe, and maybe not to look at too much going forward if it's sort of decent ground for any of those races down the line. But yeah, I just like Ryan's Rocket. I thought he looked the unfinished article when he won towards the end of last season. He's a 3 mile pointer, so the step up in trip looks like it should suit. And yeah, I just think he's by jet away. Should have plenty of stamina in him, and there's a couple of decent ones come from him. So yeah, 2.5 mile, decent ground. I think he's the one to be on me. I think Fergal will have him primed for it. So fingers crossed he can go and win. I know a few people have mentioned Flying Fortune getting the allowance. I'm just not sure for myself, but we'll see how she gets on against the boys. But yeah, Captain Teague obviously won it last year. We were thinking T-Sham going to go. He's not now here, so I'll go for Ryan's Rocket. Whether any of these, whoever wins, will go on to do anything significant in sort of higher grades, I'm not so sure. Time will tell. So yeah, that's Ryan's Rocket for myself. And you were Juventus de Brion.
Yeah.
Nice, mate. That's easy. That's easy. Just back one of them two and you'll have the winner. Wonder what Joe picked. Guess we'll never know unless he turns up. But we shall see. Right, so we're going to swing from a Grade 2 Persian War to the 350, the Unibet Veterans Handicap Chase. This is the real stuff, isn't it, Rich? You're loving this. This is what we're here for. Come on. Veterans Chase. Old horses coming back year after year. Who was you thinking on this one then, mate? I mean, I think, if I'm correct in saying, last year I put up I right. Do you remember it? Do you remember the race? And he was what? 20 length?
He was clear, wasn't he? It was that clear. I turned it off. Can't remember.
20 length clear. You turned the telly off. I think you messaged me, and I just put back, I can't believe what I've just watched. You were like, well done, mate. Great pick. I went, he's lost. I couldn't believe it. Good boy, Bobby did him on the line. I think it was a nose in the end. But hopefully we'll have none of them issues this time round, but we'll see. It's a bit of an open race. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I mean, these are minefields, aren't they?
It's not much of a betting race. I think it's more of like have a couple of quid, have a bit of a fun bet and just watch it. It's good to see the horses coming back, but
yeah, I mean, Good Boy Bobby's obviously returning. I think he won it last year. I think he might be off the same mark, but I think he is carrying more weight. I can't really go for him. I've seen people going for Wayfinder because of his Chepstow record. I think he's opened up 14s. I think he's 5s now on 365 and maybe slightly bigger in other places. But yeah, I think he's got a good chance. The one I've kind of landed on, though, is Enrillo for Nichols. I mean, he's had wind surgery. The claimer brings his mark down to 127. He's been winning well over 3 mile plus sort of races last year. I mean, he's not won since 2021. But this is probably one of his easier assignments, I'd say. Yeah, I mean, he's at the price. I'd maybe have a little go on him, but it's not a real strong betting race for me. So it's more of a tentative selection, that one.
Yeah, it's not a big betting race for me. I mean, you mentioned Wayfinder there. I think he'll be all the rage. Obviously, a 4-time Chepstow winner. You know, most of them, if not all, have been on good ground. So the more it dries out, the better. I think it's one of them horses where, I mean, he's not won in sort of a couple of years, but it's kind of like these veteran chases. He's got his conditions. Just take a punt on him, and obviously he's been backed in pretty well so far from an opening double-figure price. You look back through his form. He was third at Cheltenham around this time last year, and that form sort of behind Twig and Wacker Clan's decent. And like I say, there he gets his conditions. So in a kind of race where you're not going to be going, balls deep in your money, I'd just say I'd take a little punt on him each way and just see what happens. But yeah, I can't back Good Boy Bobby, even though he's a decent favourite, just simply because of what he did to me last year. Hopefully he runs. Obviously, hopefully he runs a good race, but hopefully he doesn't win. Yeah, we won't spend too long on the Veterans Chase, but yeah, I'll go for Wayfinder myself each way, and you are on Enrillo for Nichols. So if we'd have done them first 3 races, Rich, would you have been Nichols, Skelton Nichols?
Yeah. Could have been. He's going to clean up, isn't
he? Yeah, I mean, he does pretty well at this meeting. I think he got 3 or 4 winners last year, and he's obviously normally gets them pretty revved up and ready, so we'll see how he gets on. Right, this next race is one I'm really looking forward to, actually. A Novices Limited Handicap Chase. Oh, I feel like Cheltenham already. Oh, a little taster of what's to come. This is pretty much 3 mile. And we have Isaac Desobo. A lot has been spoken about this horse for Nichols. Cobden's jocked up. He's in his favourite. G.A. Hunt is in here for the Skeleton. C Music. Emmett Mullins is in here. Gosh, how posh. Hotty Colours and Bigger the Rest. I've got a strong pick in this, Rich, so I'm interested to hear your view. I'm basically just going to let you go first all night and see how we get on, but let me know who you want for this one. I wonder.
Again, very tricky race. I actually landed on Gosh How Posh, though.
Oh, interesting.
I think he's about 9s, 10s or 9s. I think that's a good each way.
Yeah, you get 9 to 1. 9 to 1 each.
I mean, he's jumping slightly let him down last year over hurdles, but he looks a proper stayer. Bags of stamina. Will the ground be soft enough? Might be the only question I've got. But I mean, he won the pre-temps qualifier at Wincanton, I think, last year. But I don't think he actually got into the per-temps because of his mark. But yeah, I just think he looks a stayer. Stamina is his forte, and just a biggish sort of price. I'm going to take a punt on him each way.
Yeah, fair selection there, mate. Fair selection there. I'm going for one that's just a little bit of a bigger price. About 12 to 1 it says on my my iPad. And I'm going for Destroy the Evidence for the Bailey's team. I think the drier it gets, the better it'll be for him as well, because I think he'll probably appreciate the drier ground a little bit more than a few of these. Isaac Desobo's obviously in aid off 133, which he's got a decent chance, but I do think he wants it soft or worse, to be honest. So I'll be wary backing him as the sort of short price favourite. But yeah, Destroy the Evidence is kind of in a form line of a horse I quite like. He won a couple of decent little races last season at Kempton, and he was second behind the good old Shanna Bob in that race at Cheltenham, if you remember, and Renault Kate Doncaster again. Those were in sort of Grade 2 races. So he's got sort of the form there. He didn't really run much of a race after a short break back in March, but I'm willing to sort of forgive that. And now he's going chasing. Now, for me, it looks all the bit of chaser. So I think off a mark of 130, I think that could be a little bit lenient. So we shall see. Tom Bellamy's on. Obviously, he come on the podcast last year. A very good jockey. And yeah, I think he's one to take a chance on. It was obviously won by Chianti Classico last year off 133. So I reckon that around 130, 133 mark, if you can get a decent one going over fences, is the sort of horse to be looking to win this race. So I am going to stick with Destroy the Evidence at around 12 to 1.
Very good.
It's easy, this tipping game, isn't it? We sort of fly through it when Joe don't ramble on. I'm only joking, Joe, if you're listening. Where are you? Come on, hurry up. Right then, so that's Destroy the Evidence for myself and Gosh How Posh for Rich. So the last race we're going to do then on the Friday, tomorrow's racing, is the 5 o'clock. It's the Handicap Hurdle. Now, again, another tasty little race, Class 3 Handicap Hurdle over 2 miles. You've got Washington in as favourite for the Harry Durham team, obviously flying and up and coming. Jinko Cove, Harry Fry, one more for the road. Soaring Glory's in here. Starman Lupus Regime. Dan's Levant. Fun little fact here. I actually backed Dan's Levant at the Betfair Chase Day a couple of years ago. Won at a massive price. Don't even know how I picked it. Just picked it out, and then it won. And Mrs. fell off at bench. So that was a fun story for you there. She'll kill me for telling you that, but. And he rode up. Who's you picking this one, Rich, for the last race on the Friday? Short and sharp for the folks, this.
I mean, again, it's not a strong selection, but I've kind of just picked Washington. I mean, I didn't really have a lot to go on, but he reverts back to hurdles, having, I think he was under Ollie Murphy's. He then switched to Paul Nicholls, was pulled up on his Chase debut, and now he's running for Harry Durham. So he's had a few different stables, but he's making his stable debut for them off 118, and he's ran well previously over hurdles, rated 126. I think he won over 127 back in 2022. So hurdling is obviously his forte rather than chases. And Harry Durham was an up and coming trainer last year that kept firing those winners, and potentially he could get a nice winner with Washington, hopefully, if he's got him tuned up.
Yeah, fair comment. I mean, when I was looking through this race, I kind of narrowed it down to two, and I sort of said to myself, top weight or bottom weight, that is the question. And I was kind of dodging between a Washington and the other one was Gin Coco for Harry Fry. And I'm going to side with the top weight. I think Gin Coco's in here off 133, which I don't think's a bad mark. He won off that. He's a winner on good ground. 2 mile trip is fine for him, and he's won off 133 only 4 runs ago. Now, if you go through them 4 runs, they were in a higher class 2s. For 3 of them, one of them was one of them class 1 attempts, the Swinton Handicap, and he run a decent race for the circumstances, but it drops back. Well, it drops down to a class 3 now for this. I do think they could have potentially gone elsewhere, but they've come here for a bit of an easier race, I believe. And for me, he's also had a wind up. Now, obviously, they must have thought in them 4 runs maybe something wasn't quite right, and they've hopefully found an issue. Well, if they found an issue, they've hopefully sorted it. And if he's able to win off 133, so if the wind up's sort of done him right, then I'm hoping he can bounce back to that sort of form and go pretty close in this. So yeah, I'll go with the second favourite. You can get about 4-1 for Gin Coco for Harry Fry, and that's Friday, Rich. We're absolutely flying.
Because Joe's there, you see, short and sharp.
I know, I like it to be short and sharp. We don't want to ramble on too much, and you can sort of say the same thing about 10 times if you wanted to, couldn't you? Really, but you just want to try get your reasons out, get in there, and get out, and the folks can listen and move on. If we try and make it your car journey to work, then it's easy peasy, isn't it? Here we go.
Still
right, so we're going to move on to
Saturday. Still a bit rusty, aren't we? That's it. Still a bit rusty.
You what, mate?
Still a bit rusty.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting into the flow of it. We enjoyed the last jump season. The flat was a bit of a slog, but this is kind of like our second full season doing the show. So I feel like I'm hoping it looks a little bit better. Maybe sounds a little bit better and we're a little bit more, savvy with it, because I think last year there were quite a lot of bumps and scrapes along the way. But hopefully it's a little bit easier for people to listen to, and people are enjoying it. I mean, the subscribers keep sort of ticking up, so hopefully people are enjoying some. No doubt it's Joe they're enjoying, and they're sick of listening to us. But yeah, Joe will get his selections up at some point. I'd have thought. He's obviously travelling, so what can you do? It's one of them. He thought he'd be able to make it, but obviously he can't.
Everyone knows he's an international jet setter, so.
I'm going to say, well, he's working away, he's working here, he's working there, he's flying everywhere. He's got a new missus he's got to try and impress, so he's obviously throwing money at the nice trips to places like Barcelona. It's all right for some, isn't it? We're stuck in wet, cold England, and he's jet setting off to Barcelona. I thought he might have done it on podcast on plane, but we'll have to do one from Barcelona next time, or wherever he's abroad. But anyway, I'll shut up about that now. Boring. Right then, the Saturday. We're going to swing to the 210, which is the Paul Ferguson's Jumpers to Follow 4-year-old hurdle. Some tasty horses in here. It looks a decent card. I'll quickly go through it. You've got Liari. Well, there's no prices up just yet. So Liari for the Nichols team. Mighty Bandits in here for Great Tricks. Latin Vase, Balboa. Roaring Legends in here for Ollie Murphy. Yellow Star for the Moore team. Carucci in here for Skelton. Dodge Along. Majestic Jamila, Letterson Lily, and Through the Ages. Since I've got this, since the missus bought me this microphone, it makes me want to do it my voice a little bit softer. Does it sound all right?
Like you're reading a story?
We've already said that I'm going to do an ASMR. We're doing an ASMR podcast for those that want to fall asleep quietly. I've got a mate at work who likes to fall asleep to podcasts, so I'm going to whisper in his ear. You know you are if you're listening. Right then, so the 4-year-old hurdle. Who are you going for here then, mate? Let me know. Where have you landed?
It's a tricky one. There's two that I like. One is Liari for Paul Nicholls. I saw his 3 previous wins and was very impressed. He was then pulled up in the Boodles for whatever reason. It just didn't happen for him. But I still think he's a horse that's got potential and still could be high class. My only worry is he's got £12 to carry extra on top versus Roaring Legend. I mean, he did beat him quite convincingly by 5 lengths last time out, where he was giving him £5. He's now got to give him 12. I mean, Roaring Legend has got the race fitness on his side as well. I can see him running him close, so I'm a bit split, but I would probably still like to go for Liari because I just think he potentially could achieve more for the season. Depends on the price. If Roaring Legends an each way sort of price, the value might be to have a little punt each way on him. But until we know, Liari would be the one I'd like to see win this.
Nice fair cop. I mean, I'm not siding with Liari. I mean, if he wins it, sort of giving quite a lot of weight away. I think on Saturday, I think he's going to have to be pretty handy to win. But he may well do that. Don't get me wrong, he may well do that. But yeah, he might just be one I'd maybe stay. I'm just going to take a chance on one. And going through it, I could kind of knock a few off. And the one that interested me the most was Skelton's, this Carouche. And if you kind of go through his sort of situation, he bolted up in a race, back in November last year at Wetherby, pretty impressively. And but it's kind of sort of fell away since that. But it seems to me like they may have had a bit of an issue. Just a little bit keen. Just kind of his third run back. His third run after that Wetherby run, they stuck a tongue tie in him. So they obviously think there's some sort of issue there. But he's had a wind up now, and he now comes first run after a wind up. Now, obviously, that could go either way. He may just not be able to regain any sort of form. But if the wind up's done anything again for him, I mean, we're talking about all these wind ups after like Constitution Hills. Obviously, news has come out. I feel like every horse I look at's had a wind up. It's like, do you know what I mean? I know they're quite common anyway, but since that, it's like wind up. But as we said, they could go either way. But I feel like if you can sort of bounce back to the Wetherby form, I think a mark of 117 could be a little bit lenient. He obviously gets quite a lot of weight from Liari, gets a stone off him. Harry's on board, so I feel like they're obviously going to fancy him to go and win. So I'll stick with Carouche. I'm not sure what price it will. I'll have to get the other one up to have a check. But
that's a bold shout if I do say so.
Yeah, I mean, it could completely blow out. It could pull up. It's one of them. I mean, it's a 4-year-old hurdle for a start. It's not one of it. It's a minefield in itself. I won't be, won't be remortgaging the house to put on a 4-year-old hurdle. But yeah, I'll take a chance on him. See if he can topple the top of the market. We shall see. Carouche for Skeletons for me, and
could be his Coral Cup plot for this year.
Chuffing hell, yeah. Well, he'll have to go up. He'll have to be up a little bit, won't he? Well, if he wins this and then they put him away, you never know. Sweet, happy with that. That's the 4-year-old hurdle. Carouche for me and Liari for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Let's put the next one up. So the next one up, another decent race. This is the 245. It's the Tom Malone Bloodstock Novices Chase listed race, over 2.5 miles. You've got Boomborn in here for the Skeltons, Cuthbert Dibble for the Twiston Davis team, Insurrection for Nicholls, Mombasa for the Nutter David Maxwell jockey on there. What a guy. I mean, you can't knock him, can you? You cannot knock him. Resplendent Greys in here for the Ollie Murphy team, Sean Bowen on Springwell Bay for the infamous John Joe team. Who have you gone here, Rich? I wonder if you've got the same as me for this one.
Well, there's two that I like. One is
two in a six runner race.
Yeah, I'm only going to pick one of them.
I'll go on then.
So the other one, the one that I'm not going for is Cuthbert Dibble. He's a horse that I do like, and probably you should be following for the season. But
it's such a good name.
I just think this trip is not going to suit him. I think he does need a trip. The one I'm landing on is Boomborn for Skelton. I mean, they won it last year with Unexpected Party. It's obviously a race that the Skeltons like to target. I mean, it's a decent pot as well. I'm sure Dan's going to be going for the Trainers' Championship and picking up that prize money where he can. And yeah, I mean, he won a beginner's chase in May and placed in a few nice handicaps last year. Still classed as a novice, so I assume they're going to take advantage of that until when did he win his race? Oh, he won his race in May. Does that mean it runs all the way through to April?
I can't remember. They said it to us before, didn't they? It's something like he's got to like in November, or it runs through till some point. Just about. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, he's one that I like. I think the triple suit him better than Cuthbert Dibble, and like I say, Skelton wants the prize money, doesn't he? So it's a race that I'm sure he targets, and I think he's probably throwing a good one in to go and nab it.
No, fair selection. It's not the winner though, which is unfortunate for anyone that's following Rich only. I think Nichols wins this. You what?
Sometimes I know what I'm doing.
Sometimes you do. Yeah, you do pick some good ones. I will give you that. I think Nichols wins this with Insurrection. I like you. I looked at Cuthbert Dibble, but I think he wants further than this, and he probably wants softer ground. To be honest,
yeah.
Like I've said, I mean, if you look at the forecast, it's beaming sunshine between now and Saturday. So I do think it's going to dry up quite significantly. So I've gone for Insurrection. Obviously, Cobden's jocked up. I think he'll appreciate the drying ground, whether it be good to soft or better. So I'm going to stick with him. Yeah, I don't think the trip's going to be an issue. He's a winner over 2. He's won a 3 mile point, so 2.5 mile just about shouldn't be any issue whatsoever. He's won off a break before. He won off break last season. And yeah, I think he takes all the beating. To be honest, I think he's one of them that's gonna improve for a fence. Or they like to say the classic Nichols improve for a fence, don't they? He likes to send them chasing. So I'm hoping that he can go and do that, just that for the No Fearless Syndicate. They've obviously got some nice horses, and I think he's going to be one of them over a fence. So I'm going to go Insurrection. Like I say, I think Cuthbert Dibble needs a trip and softer ground, and I couldn't have something like him. I mean, that Maxwell is an absolute legend of the game. To be fair, owning his own, buying his own horses, riding and whatever. And to be fair, he got around international, didn't he? Which is fair enough. You can't knock him.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd give it a go if I had the money, but I don't think I'd be able to make the weight deal. Mind you, I might be able to now. I'm joking. So yeah, Insurrection for me and Boom Born for you. Fantastic. Right. We're going to move on now to the main. Actually, we've got some comments. Let's see what we've got. So Chris says, come on, Rich, give us a winner, mate. He's trying. He's really trying. What's Matt put here? Matt Weatherstone, welcome to the show, mate. Top horses to back at Chepstow on Saturday. And then he's put, if you could pick 3 horses to choose to back on Saturday, who would the 3 be? Well, we're just about nearly finished with Saturday, so then we'll go back over and we'll answer that question.
We'll come back.
Sort of thing, Matt, and we'll give you like the best 3 that we probably think each, and then you can we could have like a little Trixie or something, couldn't we? And a little £2 treble, we'll say. Right, so the main race on the Saturday is obviously the Silver Trophy at 3:20, and you've got currently at the top of the market, Krabilly. I'll just fly down these. Krabilly, Dying Quest for Skelton, Jip Cotsonay for John Joe, Tune in the Box, Into the Parks, a nice horse, Lowry's Barn, sort of an Irish Hill for Nichols, 10-1, bigger the rest. Active Authorities in here actually as well for Ollie Murphy and a few other bigger prices. Could have got 18 runners in this, which is fantastic. A nice, strong field, competitive handicap rich. It's one of these that you'll love to dissect. So, who's this winner? This is what it's all about. We've got to try and find the winners of these tough races. Do you know what I mean? I know that you want a 47 on Grade 1 winner. I know that's what you want, but we don't get that often.
So, firstly, Dying Quest for the Skeleton's an interesting one that I looked at. I think eventually he's going to end up going Novice Chasing this year. So I think it's quite interesting that it's going to stick to handicap hurdles with him early on.
Have you seen that read anywhere? Have you seen that anywhere? Have you?
It was in some time form book that I was reading. Yeah, they expected him to go Novice Chasing. I don't know if Skelton's actually said it is, but he's potentially that could be the route later on that he takes. But yeah, they're sticking with handicap hurdles for now. So I think that's probably a good sign that, again, Skelton is targeting this as one of his targets. He looked like potentially quite unexposed at these sort of trips for now. So he's one I was looking at. The one I'm going to go for, though, is Titan Discovery. He finished behind Doyen Quest at Cheltenham, but he was giving him £5. That was off 1-2-4. I think he's on the same mark, but Doyen Quest has gone up for winning that. I think there's maybe only a couple of pounds in it now. So I think that form can be reversed. I think even though he finished maybe 5th at Cheltenham, there was about a neck or length between the top 5. So
he was 2 lengths behind.
I think Titan Discovery, giving away less weight, I think could potentially reverse that form, and I think he's a bigger price as well. So yeah, Titan Discovery each way for me in this.
No, it's a fair cop. I mean, I see Stephen's just put a couple of comments in there. He's put John Joe's or Springwell Bay is going well. Yeah, he'd be, he's got a good chance in that Novice Chase as well, Stephen. Good comment, mate. I think there'll be a few backing him. And obviously Krabilly in this one. Yeah, I think Krabilly's got a great chance. John Joe could have a nice double there if he managed to land it. Rich has mentioned the one I'm going for. I'm going for Doyen Quest. I thought that race at Cheltenham, although he only won it, well, I think he would ahead off the second, and then, like you say, there was about 2.5 lengths between 1st and 5th, so it was a tight finish. But I think if you go back and watch it back, he's kind of come with a late run, showed a little bit of a turn of foot, although it turned into a little bit of a sprint. Maybe the good ground. I'm hoping the good ground will kind of do a similar thing for this, and he might be able to, do the same sort of thing. But I thought a £3 rise for that may be quite lenient. But we shall see. Obviously, time will tell. But he's beat some nice. He beat a horse called Steel Alley. It was rated 134 now. So you've got to think to yourself, right? Well, 122 could be lenient. You know what I mean? He's got that sort of back form potentially. And if you say you sort of read somewhere they were thinking chasing, but they've decided to go into a handicap now. Obviously, he might be there for a jog round for something later on, or they might think, well, actually, you know what? He's really well handicapped. So let's go for a decent little pot to get some prize money in, and the Silver Trophy is obviously not too bad, 39,000 to winner.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you've got to be looking at, I think, especially when Dan going so close. I think he'll want to start off.
Yeah, he's going to want to try and get as much as he can in early. So,
before Mullins comes over, he wants to try and land as much as he can, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So I think a race like this, Harry's obviously jocked up, which is great. And like I say, he's got that little bit of back form, beat Steel 134, Cheltenham. I mean, that class 2 at Cheltenham that he did win, there were some decent horses behind, plenty of sort of mid to high 120 horses and a few sort of low 130
nice
horses.
It might be worth following that form potentially.
Yeah, so 1 or 2 that's in there that are in like this sort of low 120s that have managed to get up towards top coming out at this early point in the season. We know that obviously Skelton's going for that. He's going to want to get him out. You'd like to think he'll have him revved up pretty early to get a strong start. He's already won a few races, so yeah. And to be fair to him, when you go back through it, I mean, he's off a break, obviously, but he won off a similar break last year. He won a race at Foss last. That were after a 567-day break, so he should be able to go well fresh. And hopefully a £3 rise up to 122 is a lenient mark, and he could go win a little pot like this and take the Silver Trophy home to the old Skelton yard. We shall see. So yeah, Doyen Quest for me each way. You can get each way 7-2 at the moment, so it's not a bad each way price. I'd take that. Whose was yours again, Rich? You were
Titan Discovery.
Titan Discovery. Yeah, so about 14-1 for Titan Discovery. Like I say, a couple of lengths between them.
Not one it.
Potential to reverse that form. It's a nice little pick that I like it. I think both of them will go up quite close, to be honest. So it's a couple of nice each way darts at that. Right, moving on up then. So we're going to move on now. We've got two more races to cover, and then we'll probably have a couple of other to just mention for the rest of the weekend. But the penultimate race is going to be the 4 o'clock on the Saturday, which is the John Ayres Memorial Handicap Chase. Class 2 again over 2.5 mile, or just short of. Editor Jeet is in here for the Martin. What an horse he's been over the years. 10-year-old now, though, off 12 stone. Could be quite tough for him. Gal Lord, Jatoile, Phlegmatic, Home Public for G&G. There'll be some G&G content coming to our socials very shortly. Rich and Joe have managed to get some really good stuff, so keep your eyes out for that. Il Rodotto, Saint Segal, King of Rye Hope, special mention for him for the Spectre team. He's in here for Skeltons and La Dominiale and Granda Jam. Who's your pick, Rich? Penultimate race, mate. Let's hear it. Dissect another handicap chase.
It's a tricky one, this. Like, I like Editor de Jeet. I like Galor, Il Rodotto. I just wonder.
Still not set winner.
I just wonder if this is their main target, though.
Really? Already this early?
I feel like, no, I just wonder if it is, because I think I just think that they maybe got bigger things in mind.
Yeah, little warm-up dog rounds.
The two that I'm looking at, one is Home Public for the Greenhorn Guerrero Yard. I mean, he's a winner at Doncaster off 139. With Toby's claim, he drops below that. Potentially, he could run well. I saw him win at Cheltenham, that Grade 2 where JPR won, flung his jockey out the side door. I mean, he's not a very big horse, but he just likes to keep running and keep jumping. So I think potentially he could run a nice race. Another interesting one I quite like is La Dominale for John Joe. I mean, the jockey Benjamin Macy's has got a £10 claimer. I mean, he's going to be running off no weight whatsoever. I just wonder if that could be a little factor in this. John Joe's a very shrewd sort of trainer. Potentially, he could run a big race. So yeah, they're the two I'm probably looking at in this, just because I don't know if these are the sort of targets the main players will be going for. So I'm going to chance something at a bigger price.
Yeah, again, some fair comments there. I mean, like Harrison, good evening, mate. Welcome to the show. Thanks for your comments. But all over Il Rodotto for this.
I think at the main players, Il Rodotto is probably the strongest out of all of them.
Yeah, I think there's a couple in here that have got a good chance. Obviously, Il Rodotto's definitely got a fair chance there, 100%. I think you're right there, what you said, Rich. And a couple of those at the top of the weights will say, I don't know if they're going to be revved fully up for this, but the one I've landed on is actually Jetoile with good old Daryl Jacob on. Obviously, Daryl Jacob was the first sort of big name jockey that come on the podcast in the Cheltenham Countdown show last year. And I quite like his ride in this. I think, obviously, last season, Jetoile won the Old Roan off a pretty much similar break to this. And there's about 10 days difference between the break that he won the Old Roan off. If you remember, I put Hitman up, and I think he's still running now, actually. His old Hitman. But don't get me wrong. If you go back and obviously the Old Roan, it was a bit of I think they took about 8 fences out. So make of it what you will. But I think it more, to me, just showed that Jetoile is a horse that they do seem to get ready off the break. And yeah, he's in here off £1 lower, I believe, than when he won that. So, it's one of them. I think the drier the ground, the better for him. I think he'll want it as dry as possible. He's got some good form on good ground. Yeah, Home Public, obviously. I thought the trip might be a bit of a worry for me. I think he's done most of his winning over 2 mile. It's obviously 2.5 mile. I'm not sure how he'll go, but
he has finished second over this sort of trip.
Yeah, it's not bad, like I say. And obviously, he's a winner on decent ground. I just want too sure, but we'll see. I'll probably prove him wrong, and I'll probably go and win. But yeah, I think I'm going to go for Jetoile to sort of repeat a little bit of the Old Roan form. If he can run straight off at that sort of form, I think he's got a right chance of winning something like this, where we think that there might be a few that aren't really that bothered about winning. But yeah, it's one of them. Saint Seagal was another one I looked at. It was an absolute one of them where you just think, chuffing hell. I mean, obviously, the better the ground, the better for him. But I think he's had. Did I get this right? I think he's had like 3 wind-ups. No, two wind-ups. So he's just had this second one. He's obviously not performed. He's had his conditions quite a few times after that first wind-up. Not really performed anything. They've given him another one. He'd be a risky one, but again, if it dries and dries and dries, he's obviously going to get his conditions. But we'll see. But yeah, it'd be a very risky one. But I'm going to stick for Jetoile with Daryl Jacob, and hopefully he can go and take the pot home for old Team Woodsy. Fingers crossed. Good luck, Harrison, if you're back in Il Rodotto. He's got a good chance, so we'll see what happens with him as well. Right, sweet. The last race then, mate, and it's a decent one as well. It is the infamous, the famous Native River. What a horse he was. I'll never, ever forget that Gold Cup that he won. Unbelievable. I thought Mike Bite had done him all day long. but he says, "Not today. You're not passing me. Not today."
Well, it broke my back, didn't it? Never the same.
100%, mate. Yeah, 100%. Right, the Native River Handicap Chase then. Over 3 miles, you've got Nassalam in here, top weight. Then you've got Stolen Silver, Kitty's Light, Arizona Candle, Sail Away, Ballygriffin Cottage, Toss Again, so on and so on and so on. I won't go through them all. So the last race of the jump season opening meeting that we're going to cover, Rich, who have you gone for? Who was the winner of the Native River Handicap Chase?
Again, it's not really a solid selection for myself. I mean, I like Nassalam, but is it going to be soft? He wants a bog, doesn't he? It's not going to be soft enough for him. So
surely he's not going to be revved up for this when it's decent ground.
Well,
I'd be surprised if they even run him, but we'll see.
I quite like Ballygriffin Cottage for the skeletons. I think he might have a small chance. The one I'm going to land on, though, is Kitty's Light for Christian Williams. I mean, he likes decent ground. He's a winner over 3 miles plus. He's dropped in class to a class 2 here. He's only £4 higher than his last winning mark. I just think he could run a nice race at 10-1. I think he is roughly. You might get slightly bigger, but yeah, like I say, it's not a massive opinion, but the one I would probably go for is Kitty's Light each way.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice little race. I don't mind these handicap chases. I mean, you've named a couple of them, and I'm going to start with Ballygriffin Cottage. Now, he won a race back in 2022, and he absolutely demolished a horse called Beauport. Jumped like a stag, and everyone were thinking, this thing's going to win a Brown Advisor or a National Chase, and he's literally fell off a cliff since that. So I can't be anywhere near that horse, but I know some people like him, but yeah, he's not for me. There's too many pulled ups. Again, Nassalam we mentioned there. I do think he wants it a lot softer than what this is going to be on Saturday. And obviously he's going to be aimed at bigger targets down the line. So whether he'd be revved fully up for this, I'm not too sure. And again, I don't think the ground's going to be much cop for him. Yeah, the one I'm going to go for is last year's winner, returning Stolen Silver. I think wins this and goes back to back. He won it off. Well, it was £4. It's £4 higher than when he won it last year. But there's sticking Dylan Johnson on who's going to take 5 off, so he's £1 lower than when he pretty much bolted up on this. He won it by about 9 or 10 lengths, and I think he takes all the beating again. To be honest, I think he's obviously ground versatile. He won't mind it either way, and I think he's got a really, really good chance of winning this. So fingers crossed he goes and do it. I think. The other ones that I kind of looked at a little bit, but obviously I've gone for Stolen Silver. Sail Away, he's a 3 mile good ground winner off £4 lower, and he's got a £7 claimer on Saturday. So, but again, he's another one that's had wind up, so I'm not too sure on him. Stolen Silver for me, back-to-back wins. I think takes all the beating. And fingers crossed that is the case. There's a comment in here. Harrison, let's see what you commented, mate. So good luck with Jetoile. Has to reverse the form of the little daughter, though. Jetoile came 11 lengths behind early this year. Another daughter is now £7 better off. Which, yeah, it's true. I mean, it's true. I did look at that, but yeah, I just think off the bat, fresh, he might be able to sort of catch a few of these cold, but we shall see. It's one of them races. I think there's 2 or 3 that's going to be in the finish, I think, and it'll be interesting who goes. Harrison, so fingers crossed I beat you, but we'll see. You might do well with Ilrodota. We'll see how he gets on. Right. That's it, Rich. I'm going to shut my iPad down because I've got my notes up here. The question is, so give us, before we do anything, then give us your best 3 for Saturday that you'd put in your little treble or your little Trixie at Chepstow.
Well,
treble on.
One of them we've not mentioned.
Oh, well, do you want to tell you what, then let's do anything else. You got anything else for the weekend, and then we'll do a treble each.
Okay, yeah, there's a few things.
It might stick a 5 on charity or something.
So we've got, obviously, tomorrow, Nichols has got a strong hand in the first 3. Farland, Catboy, and Regatta de Black. Is it Blanc? The Regatta one is the one that I do like. He's already rated 121. He's a winner. I think he's won 2 or 3 Hunter Chases last year. He's now transferring that back to hurdles. If he can jump a hurdle, which I assume he can, because it's just a small fence. I think he should take. I think he should take.
I'm gonna have to clip that, Rich. If he can jump a hurdle, well, it's just a small fence.
Yeah, it's just a small hurdle's just a small thing to jump in it. I mean, the next highest rated is 114. So, I mean, if he runs up to his
How
hunter
come,
chase,
how come Jaguar can jump fences, but he can't jump hurdles then?
uh,
Sorry, go on.
he's not matured yet properly. Yeah, I just think if he runs up to his hunter chase form, I just think it'll be very hard to beat. What else we got? Friday, we've got some not jumps. We've got some racing at Newmarket. James, can I mention these?
Yes.
So tomorrow, Newmarket 225. Godolphin have got Magic Trail. One I do like. I think it might be an each way sort of price. So I'll be tempted to have a little dabble at that. And then obviously the
47 each way.
Sorry,
47 on each way.
it's not odds on. Like when I checked, I think it was third in the market, something like that.
Oh, I'll let you off then.
And then obviously in the Phillies Mile, you've got Desert Flower for Godolphin. I was there when she won at Doncaster, beating January. I mean, Buick pressed the button and she just went. She's got some speed, and yeah, I just think she'll take all the beating. And then Saturday, Chepstow 135. This is probably one that I really like. My Noble Lord is making his debut for the Green on Guerrero Yard, a new purchase for JP. A winner on the flat.
JP colours.
Yeah, one on the flat for Michael Bell, I think he was with.
I think so. What they ended up rated? Was it 82, 83?
Well, he started about 53, 63, and then jumped up £20 after winning a couple of races on the flat. When we were there, they all spoke quite highly of him. So yeah, I mean, I think potentially they want to aim for something like the Boodles of the Triumph. So if it is the Triumph, then you must certainly be winning this race if they're going to stand any sort of chance. So yeah, he's one that I really do like for Saturday. And then obviously you've got Newmarket on the Saturday as lead artist in the 115, a horse that I saw win at York. I think he's down to Group 3. I think he came second to Kinross in the Group 2. So I think he's got a good chance. You've got Lion in Winter in the main race. He's at the Dewhurst, I think, unbeaten for O'Brien. And then Hexham, James, another jumps meeting I've moved on to.
Oh my Lord.
I'm surprised you've not looked at this.
I fell asleep.
Cannock Park is running in the 345. He's a horse that we followed last year on the podcast. Craig Nichols aboard. I read somewhere that the main early target is going to be the Arkle trial in the November meeting for Cheltenham. Obviously, he's going to have to pass the Hexham test. But everything I read about him, it seems to be quite positive. So fingers crossed he can get off to a good start for Craig Nicholl. And yeah, that's my anything else. So yeah, my main bet at Chepstow would be My Noble Lord.
Yeah, I mean, Harrison's put a comment there. They reckon My Noble Lord might open up short.
7 to 4 is the predicted price on Sporting Life.
I was just going to say, Sporting Life have him 7 to 4, so he's going to open up 1 to 2 on.
I hope he is 7 to 4. I'd like to take.
I think it'd be the JP effective fault, but I mean, there's a couple of horses in that race that were sort of rated higher than him on the flat, so it's going to be a nice little opening test for him. Obviously, jumping a hurdle for the first time, but yeah, like Rich said, they looked decent when they visited the yard, and they speak highly of him, so they know how to get one ready a first time out of the old G&G lads. So hopefully that's the case, and we'll see where it can go. If they're mentioning triumphs, or if that's the target, I mean, obviously, everyone's going to aim that way for a juvenile, but whether it can reach that, time will tell. Yeah, so anything else from me? You've mentioned some good horses there, Rich, even though I think I blacked out a little bit when you said Newmarket. So anyone who's listening to that will obviously be able to enjoy that. The other ones I was going to mention was obviously the bumper on Saturday is one of them Nichols has had a decent hand in it last few years. He won it last year with, what was that horse you said there? Was it Cap Handicap?
Last year, yeah.
He won it last year, so he's got a horse called Keel Strand in there this time round. He's obviously going to be quite a warm horse for that, but I do like Fergal's in it as well. A horse called Joining Force. I like the bumper form there, so I'd be looking at them too, depending on price. But gun to me, I'd chance Joining Force for Fergal O'Brien because he seems to get a nice bumper horse now and then. So I'll stick with him. And the only other one is a horse I'm looking at is actually running in obviously Sunday. It's for Foss Lass. It's the Welsh Champion Hurdle. And the horse I really like has been entered in this, and it's a horse called Lump Sum. The Thomas team have got two in here. They've got Steel Alley and Lump Sum. Lump Sum's got the claimer on. Now, it is currently down as heavy ground. Obviously, if it dries out, I'd be a little bit wary, but I'd wait till the day to back it. But if it's anywhere near, if it's any worse than soft and heavy and that, like Lump Sum for me, has got an absolute massive chance in there. It's got decent form in and around the likes of Jericho, Durepane. Has won a couple of other nice races, but I think the heavier the better. I think it wants a bit of a bog, so I'd love to see Lump Sum go and win. But yeah, check it on today. If it's soft or worse, I'd chance him. See what price he is. But
I forgot to mention Sunday.
Have you got some for Sunday? Have you?
Well, there's one horse that I mentioned on Monday's show as a horse to follow.
All right. Well, that's the last one for me. Lump Sum in the Welsh Champion Hurdle. See how he gets on. And Fergal's joining force in the bumper on Saturday. And obviously, My Noble Lord is the one we're going to look forward to watching. Who was the rest for your Sunday then, Rich? And then we'll do a Chepstow treble each Saturday.
I only mentioned him on Monday as a horse to follow. Jaguar, again, for the Green Olive Guerrero team, potentially could be running on Sunday. I mean, he's also entered to run potentially on Wednesday at Wetherby, I think. So I
think he's entered into. There's two races at Wetherby that he's also entered in. I reckon they'll check the field on Sunday and then decide.
Yeah, so my God! But like I said on Monday, I think he's gone. A fence. He should be way better than his current mark. So yeah, just one to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, Jaguar is obviously off a mark of 118. We know for a fact that he is better than that. He was very babyish last year over his hurdles. He's been bought for fences. He's an absolute tower of an horse, and I think he's got to be better than 118. I do think they'll try and find an easier race for him. Probably whatever's at Wetherby. There's two races there. I think there's horses like Primos and these sort of good horses are in and around that Sunday race, or they might skip it depending on who gets declared. But we shall see. But yeah, it's definitely be better over fences, I think, this season. We'll just put a couple of these comments up, and then we'll do our Chepstow treble on Saturday. Stephen Cunningham, good evening, my friend. How are you? Glad to see you back on the comments. He's put, I like Fergal's bumper horse as well. Decent price with the Nichols hot pot. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I like Fergal's bumper horse. I think the Nichols horse, Keelstrand, is going to probably be short price, just like Cap, whatever his name was. What was it?
Catboy.
Catboy was a short price last year, but I think he'll go well to reverse to win that race, hopefully. And you've said there that his Ryan's Rocket runs tomorrow has always been very well thought of. Yeah, I like Ryan's Rocket. I mean, I would have preferred your T-Shans and that to be in. We might have got a bit of a better price. Obviously, he's been backed into favourite now. So we shall see how he gets on. Fingers crossed it'll be a nice little Fergal double for us there. And Matt's just put favourites for Saturday, 4 and 5:10. Have we done them? 4 o'clock, Matt, mate, I went for Jetoile. And Rich, I forgot who you went for now.
4 o'clock, Home Public.
Home Public for Rich, Jetoile for me, and 5:10's the bumper, Matt, on. And like I've just said, I've gone for Fergal's. Fergal's horse called Joining Force. That's one for me. I don't think Rich has bothered looking at that because
I would follow the money. If Nichols' horse starts getting backed in, he's probably the one I'd probably follow.
Yeah, probably open up short and then get back to him, but hopefully Fergal can have Nichols' pants down in the bumper. And one last comment before we do the Chepstow Saturday treble. Have you seen that race Cocoa Beach sitting over at Czech Republic? Czech Republic, chuffing hell, that's how I call that, mate. No, I haven't, unfortunately.
I did see something on Twitter about that. I'm not actually.
Right then, Rich. Yeah. What you say, mate? Sorry, you are quite quiet, so I keep talking over you. I do apologise, mate.
No, I did see something about that on Twitter, but I've not looked into the race at all, so I don't know who's running against. But I did see something about Czech Republic.
Cocoa Beach running in Czech Republic. It's not a sentence you hear every day, is it? Go on then, Rich. Give me your Saturday Chepstow treble.
For Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday only. What
Saturday,
are people putting the Saturday fibre on?
Saturday, I'd go for My Noble Lord. I would then have a go on Liari and Titan Discovery would be my 3.
You've got to put a fiver on that, and if it wins, you've got to give it to charity. We'll do the charity treble again.
Yeah, fair enough.
My treble is going to be Insurrection for Nichols in the 245. That's the Novice Chase. I'm then going to have Doyen Quest in the Silver Trophy. And then my third selection is going to be Fergal's joining force in the bumper. We'll back those.
We're taking each other on then in 2 of them.
So we're taking each other on. So only one charity is going to get some money if we manage to win. Oh, well, we might split the winnings and then each of them get something, don't they? So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I noticed that Joe flicked onto my screen for about 2 seconds and then he disappeared. So, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to hear from Joe tonight, but hopefully he will be back on the show once he gets a little bit more settled into his situation. Are you... Well, I don't think we're going to have a show next week, are we? Or are you? Because I don't think there's any real jumps. It's more... Is it that Champions Day next Saturday?
There's Champions Day at Ascot on the Saturday, yeah.
Are you going to want to do that? You and Joe might do something if you want, or you might do something on your own.
If Joe's about, if not, I'll just stick him on Twitter or something.
Sweet. So we might end up having a break next Thursday. Then it's weird that we get straight stuck into it, and then suddenly we're having a bit of a break. But yeah, then we'll be back after that for another preview, and then once we get into November, that's when the Cheltenham kickoff, the Cheltenham countdown show will return. Now that is a show I am looking forward to. We obviously did okay last year. We're a little bit more savvy to it this year. It'll be once every other Monday. Hopefully, we're going to get the jockeys on like we did last year. And fingers crossed we can pick some nice winners. So that's it from us tonight. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Like we say, as always, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. You know, the subscribers are growing every day. So thank you to those who do support the channel. You can listen to this on Spotify. I'll be sticking it on there as well. So you can listen to it on there. And yeah, anything else you'd like? Hang on, Stephen's put. How about a 10 to follow episode?
We could do that next week.
Yeah, actually, do you know what? We might do something like that then. Next Thursday night, instead of a preview, we might end up doing like an horse. I know a lot of people have done horses to follow. It's one of them. It's a good little what you put in it and how to win the comp kind of thing. Yeah, we could do a little bit of competition, something like that. And it's a good idea, that Stephen, mate. You've given us a good idea there, pal. We'll probably end up doing that, actually. We'll sort something out. And Harrison, good episode, lad. Cheers, mate. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Yeah, so we'll see you all next Thursday. Do like and subscribe to the channel and support the lads. Follow us on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. Hopefully some of them have win or all win. And yeah, we'll get them all, we'll get those booms posted. So yeah, anything else you'd like to say, Rich, before we go?
No, just it's good to get started again. Thanks everybody for commenting. Just makes it a bit more interesting. But yeah, fingers crossed we've got a few winners there.
Yeah, thanks for commenting. Yeah, it does help. It helps break it up a little bit then rather than me and you just sort of mumbling on. But
yeah,
hopefully it were not too bad. And Joe will be back next week, no doubt. Right, thank you very much for watching and listening. And we'll see you all next week. Goodbye and good night.
See you later.